Hello. So you hear that? That'll be the duration now, the soundtrack for the duration of the video. Maisie's got a new toy, and instead of squeezing the cat, she's squeezing that. I've given myself a little space this morning in order to do, I'm saying a little space because I don't want to say 15 minutes. 15 minutes, which is what I've actually given myself. Because I don't want to be fucking contained by time always. It seems to be the language I use still though, and you know, I don't know. Anyway, there's something still that comes in when I start painting that doesn't relate to time, so I'm going to do that. And I thought I would do a wee bit more to this flower here. Funny story actually, on Monday night I was to give a demonstration to an art group online, and I totally forgot it. I totally forgot about it, and I'm just going to paint the background up to meet the yellow flower here now, with the dark brown, which is Van Dyke brown, and the ultramarine blue. Totally forgot about the demonstration, but luckily those of you on the online flower painting course will know that on Monday I also did a live Zoom thing painting these flowers, and Deanne and Paula, thank you for your suggestions. You're probably tuned out already. Thank you for your suggestions around putting cling film over the paint, because I kept my paint wet, and thank God I did, because an hour later I got a call from this art group saying, Anya. And I was like, oh, as soon as I heard the name of the lady, like I thought, oh my God, is it tonight? And so I came in here then. And so those of you who saw the first stage of this painting will notice that it's different, because I had to work over it, not in the natural light I had started it with, but with the artificial light. So everything kind of switched places. And now of course I'm back to natural light, but it feels okay to still paint this flower here in the natural light. It feels more than okay actually. It seems to sit quite nicely in this group. I'm going to give her the slightly quieter toy that we bought her. Maisie, look, you've also got this one here. What about that? Wouldn't you like to play with that one? Okay, I'm taking this one off her. Isn't that dreadful? Okay, that's no longer allowed, Maisie. I'm just going to put that somewhere out of your reach. She's not so interested, of course, in the quiet one. Look, there's that one there, look. It's kind of a pig thing. Go get it. I hope she doesn't want me to keep throwing it for her now. Okay, so I'm painting the background up to meet the flower here. So do you know what? In the end, like, there was 51 people tuned in to watch that demonstration, and I said, like, the lady said, it's okay, you know, we can do it another night. And I said, ah, God, no. I said, I'll get set up now in 1 minute. And of course, Maisie was doing her thing around the place, and Lily was a bit put off because we had decided to have an Indian, and it was warming up in the oven to have, we had got one of those Indian takeaway bags from Sainsbury's, and it was all just primed, ready to go. Next thing I got the call, and I was a little bit uncertain about eating that Indian, so I think somewhere in me I must have known about eating the curry, you know. Somewhere in me I must have known there was somewhere else I was meant to be. And luckily it wasn't like the last demonstration I did was a 2-hour long one. This one began, it's supposed to begin at 7:30. Actually started around 7:45 and ended at around 9:15, so really, or 9 o'clock even. So it was manageable, and actually more than manageable. It was great fun. Just being caught on the hop like that meant that I had no option but to, you know, it was like the thing I often say, if you've got 2 restrictions, it seems to be, rather than an inhibitor of the creative flow, a couple of rules or restrictions seems to actually create an engagement with it that is exciting and inspiring, and you find your way through, and it's that kind of getting your teeth into it that makes it really rich as an experience, and we were all in it together. So I did this thing on the back as well, actually, because I wanted to explain. I got fairly excited. Oh, it's stuck. I got fairly excited and ended up wanting to show them other techniques and different things. So I actually started it again over the course of the hour and did some on this side. And you know, I've had some lovely messages since to say that they're going to give it a go. I've sent them the photograph of the still life setup. So, you know, I was glad that we made our peace after the shaky start. My goodness, shaky start seemed to be in the air at the moment. I don't know about you. That's still quite a noisy toy, isn't it? I didn't realise Maisie, you can make noise in an empty house. A bit like some people who can cause an argument in an empty house. Remember my mother-in-law saying that about somebody, you could cause an argument in an empty house. No. And I would just, what I would do in an empty house, I suppose, is just my tendency would be, rather than to cause an argument, would be to kind of just be bitterly passive aggressive. That's my line. I do a good line in that. All right. I shouldn't say that. Like, you know, from this moment on, maybe I won't. There we are. There's the possibility always of beginning anew, isn't there? Thank God for that. No. But I guess it's not, you know, it's not an easy path to change patterns, is it? What do you think about that? I suppose if we say it's not an easy thing to change a pattern, we're already making that another pattern. And actually, possibly, you know, we're mysterious beings, aren't we, the lot of us? We're capable of way more, I imagine, than we think we are. So, yeah. I suppose while we're here, we might as well do our best, like knock ourselves out. Live it up, as John O'Donoghue says, feast on your life as best as we can. Now, feasting on your life for some folk may be simply managing to get through the next breath. You know, there's that as well. So, not to be underestimated, the experiences that many are dealt here. But insofar as I can, I'm aiming for joy. Insofar as I can, aiming for joy from the area of the belly up the way. And down the way too. Yeah. So I think there's something about that, the richness of our bellies. Mine is full of pancakes yesterday. Did you do any pancake making? I'm looking at you now and I think maybe you're thinking, does she think we can see anything on that board? Because they're so far away. So I'm going to pull the door closer and adjust this handle, hopefully. Oh, it's quite hard to pull, to make you come closer. Sorry, I'm holding the brush in my teeth. Okay, for the last 7 minutes, you can be there. All right. I kind of like seeing your faces. Well, through my face. It's funny how I think that, isn't it? I feel like I'm having a conversation if I can engage. Whereas if I'm here, there isn't much of a conversation happening, is there? And I like to stand at arm's length from the easel. Maybe I could shove it over that way a little bit more. There we are. You know, because it's quite good to feel like you can make moves from the shoulder and fully occupy the space that you're in. Now, you know, that's cadmium yellow, and I feel this is calling for a touch of lemon yellow into it. Lemon yellow looks like that lighter one there. I'm trying to make the center of the flower, and it's not playing ball with me. There we are, that's better. Okay, now I'm going to half close my eyes. Just put a touch. No, that's okay. It's actually generally dark anyway. When I half close my eyes, I recognize the darkness of it. And I'm going to place the light here, where the petals are overlapping the center a little bit. There's a nice bright petal there overlapping the center, and here too. Okay, and now I want to make a colour that'll represent the shadows in the petals. So I'm using the hooker's green mixed with, do you know what, it's mixed with the white and everything there. You know what I'm doing. I put in the cadmium yellow. Really, I wouldn't recommend mixing it with white so early on, but the white is helpful in a way because it does need to be a bit more muted. So that's where the white will be useful there, I think. When I half close my eyes, some parts are that kind of creamy yellow ochre colour, so I'm going to go with it. And I think when there's the contrast of the lemon yellow brightness, that it'll pull up the yellow ochre into a cooler impression of it. So with my eyes half closed still, like some of these petals, either I didn't accurately paint them before, or some of them have opened a little bit more since Monday, 2 days ago, so I guess they will have moved a little bit. So this petal's now extending out there, and there's, with my eyes half closed, there's a dark here. Maisie, stop it. She's back onto the cats again. There's a dark there, there's a lovely light petal there. I'm going to use my finger and put some green on there, because I feel like that should be green rather than petal. And there's a bright yellow. Maisie, for goodness sake, there's a bright yellow petal that overlaps the green here. I want it to be clean. And actually, it's not completely lemon yellow. It has got some cadmium yellow in it as well. So with a clean, yep, it is clean. With a clean brush, I am going to make a lemon and cadmium yellow mix to explain that petal that I just painted fairly roughly there, hanging down. You see how when it's in relief, it already reads as being brighter. So like Rembrandt's paintings, they used to say you could hold them, you could pick his paintings up by the nose, because he had so much paint on the thick areas of brightness on the tip of the nose and things. So I've made a lot of paint there, and now I'm picking it up, I'm pushing it up like a shovel in snow, getting a ridge of paint along the edge, which I'll turn around then and flatten onto this area. I don't really want to answer that, so whoever it is now, if you're watching, I'm sorry. Obviously you won't, well, it'll be after the time, so you could be someone who's watching. Right, making that bright, thick, making this bright and thick, just at that end anyway. And I'm using the lemon yellow in between here in order to represent the very brightest bits. The only thing is that might be my daughter. I better go and check it. Sorry to be yanking you around. Oh, yeah. Right, I'm going to give her a call back in a minute. It is actually my daughter wondering about a lift to work. I'm not sure if I can take her today. Okay. Well, maybe I could, yeah. I'll just say yeah. No, I won't. That's dangerous. See, when I say yeah spontaneously. Okay. I need to figure out what I can do and what I can't do. Oh my goodness. I don't know about you guys, but you know, there are some things coming up for me at the moment that they're freshly, I don't want to say traumatizing, but there's some, you know, deep excavating, I reckon, happening in my belly somewhere. Sounds very ominous. Lovely time as well, you know, but I feel like it's really necessary to slow down, get into my, I'm doing a lot of online dancing. I've got a session tonight now. I find it really good to get into the body, you know, when you get all sometimes stuck in worries in your head. When I get stuck in worries in my head, I find it a helpful thing to move physically. To move somewhere else is even good, like go for a walk with Maisie or whatever, but also to move differently in the space that I have. And dancing, online dancing, there's 5 rhythms that I'm doing tonight now. And if you want to know more about that, let me know. And maybe I should put a link below the video when I post it to YouTube, because I do find it a lovely thing, and I recommend if it resonates with you that you might give it a go. You kind of see, like I see people I used to dance with in person, in the woods during the kind of less stricter lockdown phases. And there's something very pleasing about that. It reminds me a bit of my own feet on the forest floor, and brings me back to that, even although it's just my living room I'm dancing in. My living room is quite a good space to dance because there's absolutely no inhibitions when it's just yourself and the dog. The girls let me have the living room for those times, you see. I kind of book in. They've got their own dance classes too. They book in for. Right, I'm actually going to stop fairly soon, I'd say, because I'm conscious that I want to get back to Erin, if that was her. And I'm happy enough with that. I'll bring you closer so you can see what I was looking at and what I've done. So it was that, that flower there that I brought up into a little bit more detail, and the thinner dark paint behind is explaining the edges of it, and the brighter yellow then is thicker, and the centre of the flower is quite dark again. And that's the flower I was looking at there, central one. Okay, so this is quite a mismatch of a painting, with it being partly done in daylight with my lovely online group. Thanks for watching if you're tuning in from there. And partly the panic of the late painting it in the evening for the demonstration I was doing for the Art Society that I totally forgot about. And now today again back to natural light, doing that detail in the flower that I promised I would do to those of you who tuned in earlier on Monday. So there we are. I'm glad that I've stuck to almost 15 minutes. It's nearly 17, but that's very good for me. Like in Ireland we used to call it Harbour View time, where I came from. My family was typically an hour late, was us being early, like. So there we are. That's Erin back now. I'll see you later. Bye.